when Jake and I are on here and we're saying something's phenomenal, it's not besides 440K, which is if you and I say unique, if it's unique, like Chrome Tour X and 440K, it's fucking different. Like we ain't seen that shit before.
Yeah, correct.
If it's good, it just means that it does exactly what they say it's going to do. It's quality. It's efficient. It does all the stuff, and it's worth getting into the bay to test if you're looking for golf clubs. If it's unique,
absolutely,
it means you're an idiot if you don't try it. That's the code word.
Yes,
if it's unique. It means you are an absolute idiot.
That's the
if
signal.
You don't try.
Yeah, that's the that's the signal. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Now you're starting to speak Jake and Johnny. All right, welcome. Fully Equipped, episode 316 with young Jake Morrow, made for the range fame, and Johnny Wunder from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Okay. We're going to start off with a little bit. We're going to be, and I don't want to be a liar, but we're going to start off just for the beginning of the show, a quick little tidbit on Rory's irons, because obviously it's this week, and it's going to get it out of the way really quickly. So here's the story. So he had him in play in the final round in Australia, the cavity backs. He's ultimately looking for forgiveness. He's just at that point where he doesn't want to have to be perfect with the iron. So he's looking for, it wasn't a ball speed thing or anything. They basically made him to his spec, so they kind of fly and spin the same. His mishits are better, essentially. Out of the guts, they're kind of the same. They put a 760 sole on the set that he has right now. So the only modifications that he's done to his set, the ones that he has now, are the soles. They put a little front edge relief, just like his 764 iron, which is still in the bag. So he's got 5 through 9 in the CBs. And they are working on a set, though, a very Rory specific cavity back set. I don't know if it's a prototype set or whatever, but they are working on a set. It's ongoing. They've been doing it for a few months. It's not ready, but he wants to play these ones to get used to the idea of playing cavity back irons. So there you go. That's the updated story on Rory McIlroy.
They would hypothetically. It would be this fall, right? Would be the 3 years of P7CB, 4 years of P7CB. It's been a while.
2000. Oh yeah, it was fall 23.
Like we're due a new CB from TaylorMade, anyhow. So
if I was going to guess, and I don't know this, I'm just speculating. My guess is that that's probably the set that they're screwing around with right now. So I think it helps. If you are a TaylorMade or a Callaway and you're launching, you have designs on launching a new cavity back or a new tour iron, it behooves you to make your premier player that would play that iron get them in the bag sooner than later. So if I was TaylorMade, I'd be trying to push to get those in the bag, for the summer. So by the time that the cavity backs hit the market, he's already in them. He's already made them famous, and everybody wants them. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I mean, like first off, the P7CB and. You didn't have. I don't think you had a ton of experience with that iron until we got to club launch in like November. I love that iron. Like I think that iron.
A lot of people love that iron. Yeah, a lot of people like that one.
I like it because, and I'll give credit to PXG here too, actually, but it is, and Cobra is my personal favorite, but like it is a true single piece forged cavity back with no
technology
and stuff. Yeah, like it's just like it is what the category actually is, which is nice because I think that category specifically is getting a little bit weird. I actually talked about that in the Mizuno launch of like Mizuno is purposely calling their new iron a speed cavity, not a cavity back, for that exact reason, because it's caused like the category is just so wide. But like the Cobra, the TaylorMade specifically, and then the PXG are like true CB irons, and they're all like they're beautiful. But the P7 CB is so nice because we didn't have it for the longest time. Like the length between P760 and the CB was like 6 years or something like that. Like it was ridiculous. So now, I mean, I hope it doesn't take another. Right. I hope it doesn't take another 6. Like it'd be really cool if whatever this iron is that he has comes out, because I want a new one. That's for sure.
Well, I mean, the cool thing is, like, and you're right, I don't have a lot. I mean, I've literally hit those irons. I went to TaylorMade Canada a couple months ago and hit them just to say that I hit them. And they're nice. They do all the things, but where I get confused in that category in the player's cavity back category is the questions that you would ask yourself before designing that iron. Because essentially, what does it need to do? It needs to perform out on tour. It does not need to be long. It needs to have really, really efficient spin, north and south spin. The miss doesn't matter. It doesn't need to, and you are playing around with blade length and offset for start lines. So that is an iron that you are creating for tour first, with a priority with being the consumer second. If it was me, if I was a CEO of a company, I'm like, we need to build our tour iron, right? Yeah. So I always get excited about the companies that just do that. Now, Callaway, my old company, had a TCB, which I thought it's my favorite of that bunch. Now, granted, there's technology 100%. In it. It's not a one-piece construction. There's a bunch of things that make that iron. But I like it, one, because I worked at Callaway, one, and two, I like it because it has offset and it's short heel to toe. I can't say that about a lot of irons that are that short with that amount of offset. So, but that's the thing, is like, for the consumers out there that are in the marketplace, you're a low handicap and you like to play that type of iron, there is no performance gains to be had. It's literally, what kind of music do you like? Like, the easiest way I can explain it. Correct. Like, what kind of turf interaction needs do you have? Yeah. Are you a fader? Are you a drawer? Do you need offset? Do you not? Do you need a right start line or a left start line?
Yeah.
Because that's going to ultimately how you're going to pick your iron. I mean, it's not. It's nothing more than that. It's not like I really need, forgiveness here. If the companies are playing that category game correctly, there is no performance gains. It's like, we just made the turf interaction better, or we did this. That's it.
Yeah. Did they mess with the offset on those at all, or are they just
for Rory's
stock? Yeah,
it's just a stock set. The only thing they did to him was
just that big leading edge grind.
That's it, just to match.
Oh, very cool.
Because the 760 iron, which I still think is
it's so good.
That's the most Johnny Wunder iron I've ever played in my life. Like, I had a set when I was at WRX, and I loved them. They were fast, they were forgiving, they spun, they got through the turf amazingly well. Yeah. Like, they felt good. So, I mean, that was one of those irons that could have lived to today. Like, they could have let that thing run for a long time. Now, granted, they came out with 770, and that was kind of a direct. The idea was to make 770 kind of what the 760 was, but with just a little bit more technology. But like, 760 as a platform could have survived even today, and still people would have bought them and played them. I think they probably would have got quite a bit of play still on tour with that iron if they'd have kept making them. It's just a real simple, unique iron, although it was, it had filler in it, and it had a bunch of technology, but it was just a really good iron. So,
yeah.
So anyway, this is a big week. The last 2 weeks, we talked about this a little bit on the show on the last Fully Equipped podcast. Like, it's a really busy time. It's like information overload. This week we have Cobra, and I'm excited for this because there's a lot of stuff in this week that we were both excited to talk about. 440K, S259, Optum line, and then PXG's irons, Gen 8 irons came out. Quantum launches today. The show launches on Friday, so Quantum has finally hit the market. So we're going to take it one step at a time here and just kind of go through everything. We're going to start with 440K, and I want you to kind of give your opinion and synopsis of what you think about it, and then I'll give my I'll talk my shit on there on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, so out of all the new drivers, the only one that I've gotten to play on course is the 440K, which you were with me. Like, you saw what happened there. I made some very questionable swings, and the ball went exactly where it was supposed to go. It's funny, your comments on your post about the 440K, somebody asked, like, according to physics, how is it possible to throw that much weight in the back and that low in the head and not create crazy launch and crazy spin and like lower ball speeds? And I commented back to the guy, and I was like, yeah, Ping just looks at physics and laughs in its face. Like, that's just right. That's pretty much what's happening here. Yeah, like, this thing and because I had the same question. Like, when we went to Ping HQ that day and we hit it, I was like, in my brain, it didn't make sense. But I think
it shouldn't do what it does. It should.
Yeah, it just honestly shouldn't. And I think that a lot of that has to do with the sole plate. Obviously, being able to move that weight is huge, and they had to do something to make that weight a little bit movable so that it remained conforming. So I think there's a little bit of that goes into some of the ball speed that you see versus G430 10K. I think the other thing too, and I've talked to a couple people about this in messages and stuff, is like the 10K thing when it was QI10 max and G430K was a forgiveness for the sake of forgiveness story. And I think that people still think that that's what the technology is, and it's just not. Like when they did that originally, when TaylorMade and Ping did it, simultaneously, basically in 2024, it was about the sake of saying that they got to a combined MOI of 10K, and there was a bunch of problems with those drivers. They did spin. They didn't have like great consistency across the face. They were a little bit slower than the rest of the stuff, but it was a really good concept to show people that there's a way to move forward with forgiveness. And TaylorMade, QI35 Max wasn't like that much different, but QI4D Max is very different, and Ping G440K is very different. So I think that 2-year life cycle of trying to figure out how to move that forgiveness for the sake of forgiveness into a package that I think now, anybody can play. Like if you told me that I was going to, like, based on what we have done and I've tested and what you've seen on course, if you told me right now,
and just who we are,
if you told me right now, like, Jake, you have to play 440K this year, I wouldn't bat an eye at it. Like, am I going to be, doing the same thing that I'm doing with this insane, ridiculous Cobra LS? No, but I'm achieving a very, very different goal, and I'm going to hit the ball significantly straighter, and I'm going to get away with a lot more on course. And by the time you take all that into account, you're not going to care about the 2.5 yards that Foresight said you lost.
Well, and I'll go now. Like, it's an anomaly driver. Like, I've never seen anything like it, and I'm not saying that to add a bunch of hyperbole. I haven't seen a driver that claims to have that platform that was that fast. Like, for me, and you were there, for me, of all the drivers we tested, and I don't know if it was just the day, if I happened to swing a good that day, I don't know but that was the fastest driver for me, like, of all of them. And I hit LST and hit him just as good as I was hitting the K, and the LST was 3 miles an hour slower than the K was. And then, and I went from day to day to day, and that, I think I probably hit 15 balls with it, with a 440K, and I think my lowest ball speed for me was like 163 or something like that. I got it to 166 a couple times, which for me is like not normal. And I know a lot of the ones that I hit were not solid strikes. They were like out of the toe, out of the heel, a little thin, whatever. So to your point, like with the first 2K drivers, it was because, I was at Callaway at the time, and they were trying to find out how far down the forgiveness pipeline they could go and keep it playable, because you're still going to catch some golfers with that idea. If you go way that way, you're still going to catch a good portion of golfers that just need to hit it out in front of them. And they were slow, and they spun. I have a 430 10K here that I got when I started at golf.com. It's fine, but it spins. You spin it at 3,000, and it does what you expect it to. 440K sounds like an LST, flies like an LST, spins like a LST plus, and has the ball speed of, like, I just can't figure out the ball speed. Now, I don't know. My thing was like, is it the carbon fiber on the bottom? Are they saving so much weight on the bottom? Then they have that weight in the back. Like, something's going on internally with that driver that I don't quite understand, because by all metrics and physics, it's kind of impossible to do. It doesn't make any sense. I would love to go even deeper and find out what the secret sauce of that driver is. But on tour, hell, if they have 12 staffers, they're going to have like 5 or 6 guys. Sahith's in this driver. Taylor Moore's in this driver. I wouldn't be surprised if Vic Hovland eventually puts it into play. I know they've tested it with a bunch he really likes, so they're trying to dial it in. But like, it's their it's the most forgiving driver that Ping makes, not Callaway, that Ping makes, which is, it's like saying they are the forgiveness company. And to think that their guys on tour and a lot of good players are going to theoretically switch into this most forgiving head, to me, marks something in the industry that could make another shift. It's like when people are like, well, because I've gotten a bunch of other OEMs call me and go, what is it with this 440K driver? Like, is it really that good? And I'm like, I can't explain it. I've never seen it like it. It's kind of like the Chrome Tour X golf ball. Haven't seen that before. Where I throw somebody a ball
happens.
And it just goes. So anyway,
it's interesting too, because like with the driver switch, and this is actually something I want to talk to Justin Ray about, is I would like somebody to track for this driver specifically. I want somebody to track increase in increase in iron statistics. So on shots gained on approach, I want them to track that stat for the players that are using G440K. I don't want to know what their driver stats are, but I want to track the approach, because I think, to me, like when you look at stats and stuff, especially at the PGA Tour, there's a million different correlations, right? Like a bunch of the best putters are the guys that have the closest proximity, right? A bunch of the guys that have the closest proximity are the guys that are longer off the tee. Like there's all these correlations that a stat that you're not looking at for what it is the actual effect of that stat. And it's so interesting. So that's one of the ones I have. Like I have a list of stuff that I'm going to ask him to like track and see if anything comes out of it, like just because I have a couple hunches. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's such an interesting driver. And it's funny because like we were in a group text the other day about something, and somebody said like something about, Ping has always been super good at retaining ball speed off center. And I raised my eyebrows a little bit, because in my experience with Ping stuff, they've always been good about maintaining launch at the sacrifice of speed off center. Has always been my experience. Like they will lose the speed to keep the ball straight, because your spin doesn't get like super jumpy and your launch doesn't get super jumpy, but your speed's going to drop off center. But with the 440K, now it is that statement of like, if I hit it, if I'm a 6 in the toe and 7 high, I'm losing half a mile an hour, maybe. Like
maybe.
Insane. It's crazy. Yeah.
And the spin retention on those strikes too. Like I'm trying to get my hands on the TrackMan session from that part of so I could post it just to show it in the numbers. But like to your point, like about like with statistics things, I'm actually more curious, because there's one fitting stat on tour, and you and I have talked about this a bunch, but like driver efficiency is the fitting pissing contest on tour. Right. And it's essentially, it's what driver puts that player in the best spots the most times. Is like, if you want to whittle it down, like who has the most efficient build. And Seb Straka has won it a couple times, and there's a couple other guys that are always up there. I want to see how many of these 440Ks, being what it is at the end of the year, how many of these 440Ks are actually in that top 20 of that stat. My hunch is that you'll see 3 or 4 of them in there in that stat, because it's going to take guys that need forgiveness out on tour and make them a little faster. And not forgiveness, that need ball speed, that are already pretty straight. It's going to give them more opportunities for ball speed, I think. Now, the players that I know, like Charles Howell, for example, that has it in play right now, he lost 2 miles an hour with the K, but he hits it substantially straighter than every driver he's tested. Besides the Cobra. The Cobra, we'll get to the Cobra. The Cobra is the other one that is, he said of all the drivers he hit, and he's hit everything now. He said all the Callaway stuff, all the TaylorMade stuff, Ping, he's hit it all. He said the Cobra Optim X for him was the best combination of ball speed, miss, start line, everything. He's like, it's not the fastest by like 1 mile an hour, but it's got the fastest miss, the most quality miss, the launch is, spin consistencies. Like, this is the most complete driver. And him, like he'll get in there, he digs in hard. So we'll get to the Cobra in a second, but a close second to him in his mind. And to your point about that stat, he's like, I think with the Ping, whatever I'm giving up in distance, maybe, at his level, maybe 7 or 8 yards a carry. He's like, I think I might be in a better part of the golf course, another 1 or 2% with this 440K. So now I have to make the decision. Is the trade-off, what's the most valuable trade-off to make there? Is it being in a slightly better part of the golf course, maybe 1 or 2% more, or is that 9 yards going to come in handy? And by better part of the golf course, I mean, what side, how close to the rough you are, like all that little shit that you don't even think about, but they think of all that stuff. Okay, and I'm going to quickly glaze over the S259 wedges, which even the tour launch was a little quiet. I've always been a huge fan of Ping wedges. Even when I was at Callaway, I used to always kind of like love their wedges. I think their new wedges are great. I actually might put the 58 in play. I'm still screwing around. But what did you think? Like, it's just a good wedge. I don't know how else to get into it. I mean, I've always felt like Ping wedges spun as much as anybody's did.
Yeah, I mean, we had a really good experience with them. I think they spin a lot. Their grind offerings are really good. The new e-grind is sick.
Awesome. Yeah.
I've been talking to Adam a bunch from the truck, and him and I, there's a couple changes. I think we're gonna take a B grind and we're gonna maybe do a little bit of sauciness to it. Just because he plays a special E grind that he made for himself, and it made me very interested in something. But it's nice because Ping, obviously, like Ping is always very calculated. So when you talk about something as specific as like choosing proper bounce and grind options, what Ping comes out with for the stock consumer that you can just buy is going to be very, very thoughtful. And I think that they have a really good mix. Like I've got a W grind here, which is a nice, huge, big bounce wide sole, but they've also got the B, which is still a wide sole, but it's kind of lower bounce. They've got the H, which is versatile, but doesn't kind of get into the ground super quickly. And then the T grind and the E grind are your creative grinds and like your people that need a lot of, usage and manipulation out of those wedges. They also look really good this year. I think that they changed the score lines a little bit, and then the transition from the hosel into that leading edge got way better on these than they did on 159. But yeah, no, they did great here. And this is just cool. The dial-a-grip, like my dad still has a set of Ping Zings that until I forced him into a set of G430s, he was playing, and it was only because he had dial-a-grips on his irons, and he like just having the flight lines and like the choke up lines and stuff. So for them to bring that back for the wedges is really cool. And for people that don't know, just a little tidbit, not to spend too much time here, but like they're also longer, which I think is a very unique thing that I can't believe like Golf Pride or Super Stroke or Lambkin or whoever hasn't made a wedge grip that it's 3/4 of an inch longer, so that when you choke down, your hands never have the opportunity to leave the grip, and it's also less tapered, so you're still feeling the same thing when you choke down up to, I think it's like 3.5 inches or something like that in the grip. So yeah, just like again, it's just like super
thoughtful,
Ping, right? Like just super thoughtful,
super
purposeful,
thoughtful,
like very, 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 very direct feedback and implementation of things.
Yeah, the grind that I really liked, and I want to make a statement on these T grinds that everybody seems to have now. Like I got into the H grind, which is one I really like, which is kind of like that. It's like a half moon grind. I forget what they call it. But again, it's another one with a kind of a wider sole with some heel and toe relief. But at the end of the day, like, is that it? That the H grind?
This is your H, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a good wedge. And as I go along this path of trying to get better, I'm finding myself going to wedges that are mid to higher bounce with some relief as opposed to the lower bounce stuff like the T grinds. Not because I necessarily need the help, or maybe I do, but like for the people at home that are picking a wedge, like how hard you hit your pitch shots is going to come into play quite a bit with what wedge you choose too. So just because you like low bounce wedges doesn't mean you go grab a T grind. T grinds are built for players that hit shots with speed. So think of like somebody that could really utilize a 64-degree wedge. Same type player could utilize a T grind because the mechanics of making them work are the same. It's being able to do this. But like when it comes to T grind, we get a lot of this, because everybody has a T grind. Callaway has a T grind.
Yep.
I mean, Vokey does, Ping does, PXG does. I mean, Cobra does. Yeah. TaylorMade does too. They just call it an LB, but it's a T grind. Those are for the normal consumer, for the normal player, and even a huge portion of the tours. They're like a surgeon's tool, and I don't mean like they're unruly, but like they're kind of like an LS driver. They're very specific to a player that's trying to do something very specific, right? And what happens is you get better players that don't understand. Charles Howell did this. He just thinks I need a low bounce wedge. What's the lowest bounce? When they look at it, they have a thin sole. Oh, that looks cool. Then they hit a couple of flop shots off of a tight lie. Like, oh, this is perfect. This is exact. And then they have to square it up. Then they have to get it in the bunker. And all of a sudden, it happened with Charles, for example. Like, he's in the bunker with a Callaway tee grind, and he hit the first one with a lot of speed, and it came out and it spun. He's like, oh, that was awesome. I'm like, is that how you normally hit bunker shots? He's like, no. I'm like, hit a normal bunker shot.
Yeah.
And it just went whoosh, and just stuck on the ground. I'm like, that's why you're not a tee grind player. Like, and it happened on a square face shot right in front of the green. Like, he's hitting these chip shots, and then he tried to kind of toe one up and hit one out with his tee grind, and he caught a couple, but then he hit about 4 or 5 more, and he got away with them. But all the shots looked different. One kind of went live, one kind of rubbed the face, and I'm like, there again, for the proper wedge, 90% of the shots that you hit, if you're trying to hit 10 of the same shot, they're going to look almost identical. You won't be able to tell the difference between the 10 shots. That's how you know the wedge is right. If it's going up and down and left and right, it means you're all over the face and it's not the right wedge. Anyway, I digress. Okay, let's get to because I think that shit's important. People don't think about it. Like, finding a wedge that's going to get you in group 2 to 5 all the time. Like,
next week we're going to tell a big CG story, and I think that'll make a lot of sense to people.
Yes. Yep.
I'll put it that way.
Let's get to Cobra.
Yeah.
God, what a great
I need to spend a second here. We gotta.
What a great launch, man.
I mean, holy cow! Like, I don't know. Well, actually, you do know, because I was live texting you my photos. I didn't make you wait at all. Like, I went to test these, and I think I texted you like 8 times in like 20 minutes that night when I was like, "Hey, dude, something's going on here. Like, this is ridiculous." I've got the LS here in my head, but like, I can't decide between the Cobra lineup if I like the X in a mid-spin build or the LS in a higher spin build, because I can't seem to not hit either one of them with the smallest dispersion circles I've ever seen for myself on a Foresight launch monitor. Like, it is absolutely ridiculous. And they're right up there in the top of the speed category. The one thing I will say, like, speed wise, and I people get caught up on it because they see my screenshots of data and stuff, and then they wonder why I don't like to put it up, is, one day I'll go test something and I might be at 107 miles an hour. So 159 miles an hour is really, really good. But if I'm swinging something else at 111 on a different day and you see 165, it's not fair. You know what I mean? Like, all you see is ball speed numbers. It's not. You got to understand.
It's not apples to apples. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyhow, so on the best strikes, I think across the board this year, everybody achieved speed. I want to put that out there. I think that, like, everybody got to really, really. I've seen the highest speeds from each brand from years past. Let's say it that way. But this lineup, the POI thing is just, it's real. Like, it makes sense. I think the only thing that's a little confusing is, you want high MOI, but you want low POI. I wish they could have found a way to, like, just manufacture that change, so it was all, like, it was just high for both of them, so that you didn't have to talk about one being high and one being low.
More to make our job easier, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. I love the weights. I like that the LS has 3. I like that they're labeled. I think that's a huge thing for the consumers. So, like, on the LS head, there's a fade, an accuracy, and a forgiveness. And then there's 3 levels of weights. There's a 3, 7, and 11. So whatever's most important to you is where you put the 11. Whatever is second most important to you is where you put the 7. And whatever is least important to you is where you put the 3. I have mine set from 1, 2 to 3 as forgiveness, fade, accuracy, which to me is hit it higher, don't hit it left, and then I just had another weight extra.
Yeah.
That's pretty much I think the decision I made. Yeah.
I think the one that they sent me was 11 out by the toe. I think the 3 is in the heel, and then the other one's in the back. Whatever, the 7's in the back. But and this is kind of what I mean, and you and I are huge Cobra fans. Like there is a level of bias, and I think a lot of that's
1000%.
I guess the unjust of how good their product is and how little buzz they get is one. But two, it's a little bit of aggravation around the fact that they can't amplify their marketing to compete. Like, this year, POI is a very, very interesting story, but POI is one of those things that I would have in my back pocket, and I would have just sold speed this year. I don't think I would have sold POI. I would have just been like, yeah, that's how we make our drivers now. This is the new construction. And that would have been secondary to how fast this is, because in our testing with a lot of the players, it was as fast as everything else. And when we heard the marketing on the Cobra stuff, they weren't talking about speed. It was almost like, yeah, and it's fast. And I sat there, after the fact, we were coming back from Fully Fit, and I was like, I would have just gone full send on speed. Like,
but
they're fast, man. Like, they're really fast.
Do you think though that's so? I would challenge that a little bit by just saying, like, I think the expectation from Cobra is speed. Like, I think if you go all the way back to F9 LTD Pro, like, I think they've been trying to sell speed forever, and I think that everybody is primed that if you're going to play a Cobra driver, you're going to get speed no matter what. I think what people were actually worried about was
stability.
Like, can I hit a Cobra straight when I miss it? And I don't, I think last year they had a really, really good product, but the story was around Future Fit 33. It wasn't really about the heads. The year before that was a very unforgiving product. The year before that was a fairly unforgiving product, except for the X head. And then before that, we had Aerojet, which again was incredibly fast, but like, you couldn't miss it. It was just something, and it was kind of the expectation. It was like, this is for people that, like, you just want all the speed you can get. And then they saved all the forgiveness for their either D heads, and then once they introduced the K heads, that's when all their forgiveness came out. And now it's like, this is and I'll say it, like, I don't care. This is the most forgiving LS head I've ever hit. Like, it's insane. I didn't lose any speed, but I can hit that LS head straighter than I can any other head. And then what you can do with the X head and with the adapter to fine tune it into these little adjustments that make it perfect, both visually for players that really care about how it looks, but then also are really particular about start lines and peak height and rollout and launch parameters. Like, that X head is special. And then, like, did you mess around with the K head much?
Yeah, I hit them all. Like, and like, just to put a button on what you just said about that, like, I can see that as far as like, because my experience with Cobra drivers, and it literally goes back to like F9 and then F9 speed, whatever the hell it was called, the one after F9.
Yeah, Speed Zone.
Which was, they had such a good, F9 was such a good driver. It's probably the last complete driver that they had, the F9 head. Where my perception of Cobra over the years is they're fast enough, and they're forgiving, and they're enough. They're just enough, I guess. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's good. It's not, and I've hit enough stuff now, because I hit last year's stuff and it was okay. Like, when I first got to golf.com, like, it was fine. Like, but I look at it, I guess, maybe if I'm putting like my old OEM hat on, inserting yourself in conversations that you need to be in, which, when you hear Callaway and TaylorMade, we'll get to Callaway in a second, talk about speed. And I'm Cobra, and I'm like, my driver's just as fast as yours, and it does this other stuff too.
Yeah.
For me, as putting my marketing hat on, I'd have just been like, yeah, we're fast. Like, our technology's better, and we're going to start chewing into your market share. And I guess it's more of like an aggressive take. But to your point, like, you made a great point, and you're probably more right than I am. But like, I think I just see it like, I just want that year where Cobra raises their hand and goes, we're better. Yeah. You don't have it this year. Yeah. We do. And I think that's more of where I'm coming from. Like, I just want that marketing aggression that I just don't see, even with a budget or without a budget. Like, somebody standing up and go, no, dude, like, our stuff's the shit. So anyway, we can move on to. Go. You're gonna say something. Sorry.
No, I was like, I just, you and I have talked about this before. I think that, the big difference is like, you and I have a tendency to think in terms of fitting bays, and most people, and probably a lot of people that watch our content, think in terms of retail or consumer. And to me, it's like, in the past, if you bought a Cobra driver, you probably weren't going to be the most excited, and you probably weren't going to be the most upset. You were just going to be happy with it. Like, you were going to be content. But if you went and got fit for a driver, would your Cobra, would it win a fitting? And I don't know that I could have confidently said yes from LTD until now, essentially. Like, if I'm being just full transparency, like, I think in terms of how is Brian LaRoche going to put somebody into a Cobra head over a TaylorMade or a Callaway or a Ping, right? Because in Brian's studio, for example, that's kind of it. Those are the four. He doesn't really mess with too much else. And it's like, or in Titleist, sorry. They don't have a new one, so it's not my brain. But like, that's been a really hard battle for them to win for the last very long time. And now I know several fitters that I've been texting with and talking to, and including Brian, where he's like, I mean, I'm probably going to throw one of these into every fit just because I think something cool is going to happen. And And now, as that happens and more people get into it, and you see more on the golf course, and then people have a referral, the person that doesn't get fit just goes and buy ones off the rack. Like, that's how they start to eat at it. But yeah, like you said, I think, if there's an opportunity for them to be a little bit more aggressive and possibly a little bit more angsty, I actually think that would be kind of cool to see from them. Yeah.
Yeah. And it bleeds all the way down their line. I mean, their fairway woods, there's a pretty good shot there, actually almost certain shot that one or all their fairway woods are going to land in my bag, meaning 3 and 5 wood.
Yeah, you hit the absolute hell out of that X head.
Well, I hit it just like I hit my TaylorMade. I love my TaylorMade fairway woods. If I went through fully fit and didn't hit any fairway woods, I'd have been like, yeah, I'm cool. I got bangers already. And the only thing I would be looking for is ball speed. Like, if I know on my days I'm not feeling so fresh, if I can still get it out there, if I can still keep the ball speed up, the Cobra did that. It was faster, spun slightly less, and launched a little higher than the TaylorMade woods I was hitting. And that's 3 and 5 wood. And that says a lot because I'm pretty efficient with my TaylorMade fairway woods.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So for me, it was like, this is cool. 3D irons. I think they were the first company. And Callaway's got those MBs that are out on tour that will come out eventually. They're the first two that I've seen that have made a really forgiving blade. Like a blade that is going to bleed up the handicap spectrum a little bit. Go past tour, go past your 0 good ball striker handicaps and get into your 3 and 4 handicaps. I think there's people that could definitely play that set 6 through wedge and be totally fine.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
Yeah. I mean, that's, as of filming this, that's my intention. So
I'm pretty the 3D MB 6 through wedge.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go 6 through wedge, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do about the 5 iron, because
I would love for you to go hybrid blade. I'd love for you to go 5 hybrid and then just ride it.
Well, I have that 5 hybrid that I absolutely love. Like, so that's.
But why don't you? But let me ask you a question. Why don't you go? And this is just me. This is me getting excited.
I like it. Here we go. Yeah.
Go 6 through wedge, but then have a 5 hybrid that's sort of like two clubs in one. It's your 4 and your 5 iron. It's like a if you know what I mean, like if you bottom groove it, it spins and it gets you that 205 number or that whatever, and then if you gas it, you can get 225 out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it would have to be. Yeah, like I think it if I would do that, it would kind of fill that. I'm definitely gonna mess with it because I have it, first off. Like I used it almost for 4 months last year. Like I actually attribute my 5 hybrid to part of the reason why my handicap got so far down. Just because it took
some new opportunities.
Yeah, it took the 200 or the 205 to 215 shot and just like took the stress away. Which real quick, speaking of Cobra, that hybrid,
Outstanding.
Let's not let that fall under the wings here. That thing
well,
is
just for the
crazy.
Just for the record, so I almost have all my products now throughout the line, and we're gonna get to Callaway here in a second. Oddly enough, I don't have any of the new Callaway stuff. Like I'm still waiting on my guy to send it over.
Yeah.
So that like I have the golf balls. I got like a bunch of golf balls. That's it. But the way I'm doing this now, because you mentioned the 4 hybrid. So I have a TaylorMade 4 hybrid that I really like. I have my Ping Trusty. I have the Cobra. And I have there's one other club I'm missing. There's like 4, and an Apex UW 23. And they're literally all kind of the same spec.
Yeah.
So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm actually going to do this tomorrow, is I'm going to go to a hitting bay, pace of play in Toronto. I'm going to hit a few 8 irons just to get warmed up, and I'm only going to focus on that club. And I have numbers in mind that I need to hit and see what of those 4 is going to be the one that becomes basically the 4-iron part of the bag.
Oh, okay. We need to quick rabbit hole. Give me 1 second. I got to grab something that's on the other side of the camera, because this is somebody might roll their eyes at this topic, but we're going to talk about it. Hold on.
Oh, it's a great topic.
So, first off, let me ask you, what shaft do you have in your UW?
ADDI 95X.
ADDI 95X. So, I put this stupid little thing together the other day. This is the Cobra hybrid.
With like a 50 gram shaft.
With a Diamana 63 TX driver shaft. Because the external geometry of FF33 works. The internal obviously is 55, not 370. But I have been dying to be like, okay, what if I'd get a Diamana RB 83, I tip it like 2 inches, and I put that in this hybrid. I don't know if that is something that I should do, but I'm probably going to, just because now I'm just extremely curious. I'm sure I'm going to have to mess with the weights and stuff. Like, the build is definitely not going to want to cooperate, but it's interesting because I think that was one of the big advantages that the UW threw out to people, is you weren't held back by hybrid shaft availability, which,
right.
If you're a DI player, it's kind of a moot point, but it's interesting. I don't know. It's something stupid, but like right now I've got a 44 3/4 inch 3 hybrid.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well,
no, I don't.
It could be a good time. Could be a fun time. But
I'll keep people updated on that crazy experience.
Just for the consumer, that part of the bag is actually quite important. Even on tour, you're seeing it on tour, and we talk about it at fucking nauseum about the 9 woods and the 7 woods. I mean, you saw Tommy Fleetwood's bag. I just posted on my AG. He doesn't have a 4-iron in the bag. He's got his 9 wood. He's gone to an adjustable QI40 9 wood, which is kind of cool idea. Typically the tour guys go with that bonded stuff, but like, it is an important part of the bag, and it's not an important part of the bag for making birdies. It's an important part of the bags to protecting par. And that holds true on tour too. Those are par protector parts of the bag, or in some cases for par 5s, your attack club on a par 5. So it serves as 2 functions. But for the normal golfer, it's I have between 200 and 225, or 195 and 225. And I just don't want to rely on luck or my best wishes to not make a double. Because I guarantee if you go back through my rounds over the last, especially the last 4 or 5 years, most of my doubles have happened at the result of a poorly struck or poorly executed shot from 195 to 220. Like hitting in the water on a par 5, longer par 3, whatever it was, like, 180-yard par 3 into the wind where I'm trying to keep it down. I'm trying to gas a 5-iron or a 4-iron up there, and I just don't have the juice. Could be anything. Multiple scenarios. So anyway, the Cobra hybrids, phenomenal. When I say phenomenal, they're not going to do anything new. They're just really solid. And when we say, and Jake, I'm going to speak for both of us. When Jake and I are on here and we're saying something's phenomenal, it's not, besides 440K. which is if you and I say unique, if it's unique, like Chrome Tour X and 440K, it's fucking different. Like we ain't seen that shit before.
Yeah, correct.
If it's good, it just means that it does exactly what they say it's going to do. It's quality. It's efficient. It does all the stuff, and it's worth getting into the bay to test if you're looking for golf clubs. If it's unique,
absolutely,
it means you're an idiot if you don't try it. That's the code word.
Yes.
If it's unique, it means you are an absolute idiot.
That's the
if
signal.
You don't try
that's the that's the signal. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Now you're starting to speak Jake and Johnny. Okay, so and we're kind of jumping around topics here, but this is where you and I cook though. When we just start working stuff out here.
Yeah, somebody asked me a couple weeks ago. They're like, "Yeah, do you guys have like talking points when you go into the podcast?" I go, "Nope,
no, dude."
It's like absolutely not. No,
no, that's for.
You think us chuckleheads have talking points? No,
talking points. That's like I do Rocco's radio show on Monday and Tuesday nights.
Yeah,
and they send out like this schedule of like talking points. Nobody reads the email. And then somebody went on there and they go, "Rocco, we love your show. Like, just the format is amazing." Rocco looked at him. He's like, "What do you mean the format? You mean it like we're the format meaning we're on from 7 to 8 Eastern time?"
Yeah.
It's like, is that even the format?
The format is we exist. Yeah.
There is no format. Like we don't even know. Like we could end up talking about hockey, before we start talking about. We have no idea what's going to happen. Okay, let's quickly. So PXG irons launched this week. We're going to hop topics because we don't want the show to be an hour and a half. I'll go first on PXG. I've always been a humongous fan of their irons. I think that every iron launch they've had, I don't want to say they've gotten substantially better. They've always been really good. It just depends on when you're when in your life you're a PXG buyer and if the value that those irons provide is what you're looking for. And what I mean by that is they are a ball speed company. They are ball speed hunters across almost every club. They want ball speed. So typically, for most irons, maximizing ball speed across the platform. Now, obviously, you have players' distance irons and stuff like that. Well, they'll prioritize ball speed and then back it off to get spin and all that stuff, right? PXG does that across the line, even their tour irons. They make them as fast as they can, and then they start backing them off. And I like that because I want ball speed. Like, Bob Parsons and his crew are very, very good at making that first impression. Like, you may not like how it looks cosmetically. You may not like Bob Parsons in the story that they tell or whatever they represent, but they make really fun irons. And they are fast and they get up in the air and they do all the stuff. Where I would say historically have struggled a little bit is they probably achieve that sizzle due to lack of spin. Even in their better players' irons, until you get to the tour irons, like the CBs and those ones spin, but those aren't really PXG irons per se. They're like kind of like we had to make them because our tour players wanted them.
It's a good CB and a good blade. Like there's nothing. Like it just is. Yeah, and it's the one thing I will give them is that it's good, right? Like they did it. Yeah, they did it because they had to. But it is good. They didn't do it because they had to and make something that's just nonsense. Yeah.
Right. But these Gen 8 irons, and I'll speak to most gearheads are probably your T or P player for the most part. Yeah. I would say people that will listen to Fully Equipped or follow us on Instagram, they're probably, closer to a T or a P player. Both of those irons were a really good time. The only thing I would change about that is the back cosmetic. If I was going to be nitpicky, I don't like that big PXG logo on the back. I think it actually kind of cheapens the iron a little bit. I think if it was blank or had some sort of a different back cosmetic, I think it would really be a 10 out of 10. But the cool thing with that is our experience at PXG, we got a chance to hit them, get fit for them, then take them out on the golf course for a few days and play with them. And you and I both said, like, we could play these tomorrow. Like, these are great irons. The only reason I won't put them in the bag, for example, is they don't spin enough. It was the T iron. They just don't spin enough. Like I just don't. And I tried. They were about 500 or 600 RPMs low on spin, but I'm addicted to how far they go. So I don't want to start adding loft because I like hitting my 7 iron, 175, all the time at my age. Yeah. But I'm not going to sacrifice the ball being completely out of my hand to get there. What did you think?
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, you guys will get a chance to see my full fitting. Or you can head over to the channel right now, I think, after you watch this, and it should be up there to see my PXG fitting. I ended up in the tees, which it's the same thing for me. Like, for me, they're actually too fast. Like, I went to that event hoping that there was going to be a new CB, and then we talked to the engineers and the designers and stuff. They were like, yeah, there's just nothing
Nothing to do to it.
Why? Yeah, like, why? We would do it for the sake of doing it, and people would know that. And I was like, all right, that's a fair point. But yeah, like the tees were really cool because I didn't have a full understanding of like what the PXG lineup really was before going into that event, if I'm being honest. So I showed up thinking that the tees like kind of were a CB type iron. Right. I didn't realize that they were closer to like a 770 basically.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of fun hitting them. Like, they launch so easily. They're incredibly fast, but it's the same thing. It's just, is a little bit low on spin. I don't think it makes them unplayable. Like, I don't want people to walk away from this thinking that if they play them, like, they're going to be at a detriment. Like, it's not something that you're going to hit the front of the green and it's going to go off the back of the green. Like, that's not what we're saying. It's just one of those things of, for me and Johnny, when we talk about spin, what we're really usually talking about is how the ball flies through the air, not how it stops. Because how the ball stops is more due to how it comes in than it is how much spin it has. So for me and Johnny, when we talk about spin, we're talking about initial flight, and then as we watch the ball fly, that's when him and I get really picky about, too high spin, too low spin, or when it's perfect. So I think for me, not having enough spin, like, I couldn't do some things with those irons that I can do with a CB or an MB. Like, that's my thing for them. And they were just too fast. Like, I can't. You were with me.
Yeah, you were.
What was the one shot? It was like 172 uphill in Scottsdale on a cold day, and I hit 9-iron to like 10 feet, and the whole group was like, what just happened? like this is crazy. Yeah.
Well, the thing, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, I look at it from kind of because people will say, well, if they're so good, then why don't you guys play them? Or what's, and like to Jake's point, like, we're not nitpicking saying that they just don't spin at all. Like, for me, if I'm going to speak personally, I hit a lot of off speed shots. It's just kind of how I play golf. I hit a lot of 3/4, not 8s and 9-irons, stuff like that. Like, I have an idea of what that ball's supposed to do, because those are the shots that I do hit out of the guts 95% of the time. Those are shots that I, are in my hand the whole time. I just kind of know what the ball's supposed to do. And with their 8-9 wedge, like, I just had a hard time controlling spin on, like a little chippy 8-iron from 145 or 150 yards. Like, I just, it was a guess, and I want to be able to keep it down. And what I noticed about those irons, the more I tried to keep it down, the more the spin got out of control for me. But the other thing I will say about PXG, the P irons the P irons for a bunch of players are really, really good. I think that P irons actually do very, very well, because those things are fast as hell and they launch really high. So if you are a player, it's like the ultimate 7 to 13 handicap iron. That PXG P iron, it's like the ultimate. Yeah. It's forgiving, it's fast. Like that's got to be top of mind for you. If you're in the market for an iron this year and you're a 7 or 13 handicap, pretty good player, but do have a mishit or you need the ball speed, that iron's an absolute no-brainer. And I actually probably put that over a lot of the big. I probably put that like top of the list or 1 or 2. Them and Callaway, in my opinion, do the super game improvement or the super fast irons better than everybody else does. They just do them really, really well. Make really fast, playable irons in that middle handicap category. So those are, like, don't sleep on them. We're talking specifically about the T irons, which are kind of for better players. And to be honest, I don't think PXG's building their whole marketplace on that T iron. Like, it's their hero that was the P. The P was the big ticket item there anyway. They make amazing. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, did you hit the X? Did they make you an X?
Yeah, they didn't. I hit it. They didn't make me one, but that's
because you went with the hybrid, right?
Yeah.
That X is sick. That thing's cool. Like, I hit the absolute hell out of that thing. Like that is right now, because I actually just when I went to take pictures of the irons the other day, that part of my bag, again, we go back to like that part of the bag. What the hell do you do, right? I am, there's the Ping IDI I really like. That there's hybrids that I really like. I refuse to play a high lofted fairway wood. But I take that X out to take pictures of it again the other day, and I'm like, oh, like I forgot that I have this thing, and I forgot that it's incredibly fun to use. And what I like the most about it is it's very like, I don't want to make this joke, but I'm sorry. It's like I can feel Bob Parsons going kaboom, baby. Like as I make impact with the golf ball using the X driving iron from the Gen 8 lineup, like I can hear it in my soul when I hit that, like with a nice little, I hit some really cool shots off the tee with that thing when we played in Scottsdale after the event. Like, and that thing it's just this little freaking bullet creator. I also think it's fun. Some people are going to disagree with me. I think it's fun that it's marked with an X and it's not marked with a number or a loft, because it's just one iron. I think it's technically a 2 iron loft. I think it's 18 or 19 degrees.
Right.
But it's just like, I don't know. It's just fun. I love stuff like that. I think that it's very PXG ish, and it's size, speed, and sound for the sake of size, speed, and sound. Like we don't care about anybody's opinion on this. We're just going to make this thing so damn fast that people have no choice but to love it, which is exactly what they did.
Well, the thing is like, don't sleep on the fact of those two weights, that, the heel weight and the toe weight, and their new perimeter weighting system that they have, especially for an iron like that, comes into play. Yeah. So it mitigates the guy that's scared to hit it right, and it mitigates the guy that's scared to hit it left, because you can dial in draw bias, fade bias, neutral bias with those weight placements, because you can load up the toe with weight and make it really slow, and if you don't want to hit it left. So like and to speak to the T irons for better players, that is one of the cool features that separates those irons from some of the other ones. And I just completely like glazed over that, because you and I talked about it a lot. The ability to bias CG left or right on an iron is very, very cool. Like I would love to have a set of draw biased irons. You know what I mean? I'm watching all this craziness go through here, by the way. I'm watching my text messages go through.
I think the other thing too, like we talked, like Anthony mentioned that a lot of the better players, like some college guys, I think he mentioned a Corn Ferry guy, and then Scotty had talked to me about it too, with some of the testing that they've done with Gen 8 for the women's side, is like they are playing with those weights. Those weights aren't there just for show or just to mathematically stabilize the head for initial launch or initial, like stock numbers or whatever. Like they put the weights there, and I wish I had one sitting here with me in front of me. The first thing you'll notice when you see these, everybody, is how far the weights are apart. I will be honest. Every club reviewer that was at that event, when they first showed it to us and we're talking about the tech, every single one of us in our heads were like, yeah, but like, didn't Adele do that? And they right away came back, like basically with a slide that didn't say Adele on it, but it basically said, here's why the question you just asked is completely negated. And they're 100% right. Like how far, like the toe weight, I mean, there's not much material between that weight and the actual toe.
Dude, it's way out there.
So when you have that much spread between those two weights, you can do really, really cool things. And, I was talking, I can't remember if it was Scotty or Anthony or just like talking with some of their club reviewers, but the idea that, a 2 gram shift in an iron head like that is enough to change a start line by a degree without changing any other parameters, right? It's just about like, can the face just be here, or can the face just be here? And you can do that when you have that much separation with those weights. You can do that with 2 gram little switches at a time, or I think their weights are like 2.5 grams, whatever it is. But you don't have to make a huge shift. You don't have to change the feel of the iron, which is also really important. I noticed that when you change the weights, and I think at one point, Jason and I we had gotten to, because we were just messing around with it at one point. I think we had an 8-gram difference in the weights, and it drastically changed the flight, but it didn't change the feel. And I think that's also part of because they're so far apart that your contact point doesn't get affected by that mass. So it feels, it sounds, and it kind of comes off the same, but you can really, really pay attention to how the face moves. And then that's a huge component for start line. So, a guy like you who likes, potentially a little bit of offset or just wants to make sure that you can work the ball with like a little bit of a push draw or whatever, like you can change that without changing the 5 other things that you like about the launch parameters that you got. So yeah,
and that's
very cool.
It's a very, very, very cool iron. All right, we got about 10 minutes left. And really quickly, just on the PXG thing, we'll wrap it up and we're going to get into Callaway. Just for the folks at home, when you have weights like that, and especially on an iron, but like on a driver, to really affect ball flight, you have to overload the weight on the heel and the toe. Like, so if you guys are QI4D buyers, for example, you go out and buy the core head. You can't just kind of half-ass put like an extra 2 grams out in the heel or the toe. If you are trying to make it heel biased or toe biased, you have to put 14 grams out there or 14 grams in the heel. Like, you have to move heavy weight around to really influence what the head's going to do. So I just want to get that out there because a bunch of people are going to get those weights and go, I'm going to put a little bit here and a little bit there. Blah, blah, blah. It doesn't work that way. Like, you have to go, I'm going to put a fuck ton here and a fuck ton out there. Like, that's how you inspire change in these drivers, and especially for the ones that have weights, even the Cobra driver that have weights in different spots that aren't front and back like Callaway, which we're going to get to now.
Yeah,
that's how you do it.
Well, that's like like on the Quantum heads, most of them, I think. The Triple Diamond, the Triple Diamond Max, and the regular Max all have the back weight, which is, it's technically 2 weights, so it's not, I wouldn't call it flippable. I don't think that's the right word, but like it's a 9-gram weight and a 1-gram weight. So they're, when you flip them or you put them in each other's position, like I've got a Quantum TD here, like that will affect change because you're moving it, especially when you're on the back. When you're on the back radius of this, like how they have it, this is labeled as fade and labeled as neutral because the inside CG is in a neutral position. So if you want to move it to that fade spot, you can. And if you want to keep it in what they call the neutral, you leave it where they had it in the first place. But people also don't understand the difference between like, the companies they know what they're doing. I guess I'll put it that way. Like if they give you an opportunity to change something and they put it somewhere specifically on a head or they have a weight somewhere necessary, there's probably also internal structure that you don't see that's supporting the placement of those weights.
Right.
Because we get that all the time, right? Like, how is this moving from here to here? Well, I'm like, well, because there's actually like a bunch of stuff over here. So when you add this over here, it just makes it even, like it's an interesting conversation. But yeah, so Quantum. By the way, I'm Team Gloss. I just want to point that out. Team Gloss all the way. I'm big Team Gloss guy.
Yeah, you are a big Team Gloss.
Yeah, Cobra, Quantum, Team Gloss.
Put the is that the Quantum Triple Diamond? Put that up with the LS Cobra. Let me see the shape.
There you go.
Pretty similar.
Yeah, it's a little visually bigger on the TD than it is on the Cobra. Like it's deeper.
Yeah, it should be a little bit, but the So let's talk about Quantum really quick.
Mucho fasto.
I'll go and because I'll be quick.
Okay.
This hat's giving me a headache. Triple diamonds for me are all the same, right? Like that's always been a platform that I've always had to kind of jerry rig to make it work for me, and it's not a spin thing or whatever. It's kind of a bias thing. Like they are by nature not super right biased, but they are anti-left biased. They've always been difficult to turn over, and for me, I want to swing a swing, and I want the opportunity more often than not than to start a little right and have it float left, or even hit it straight and have it float left. So I'll make this statement. Their core head is very impressive, super impressive. Their TD Max is by far the best of the 3 TD Max heads they've ever made.
100%.
It's the fastest and it's the most spin efficient of the ones that they've made. And I think if you're going to look at the whole line collectively, the hero driver of the Callaway Quantum launch is TD Max. I think that is going to trap more golfers than any other head that they offer. So if you're a consumer, and even if you're a higher handicapper, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 handicapper, try the TD Max also, because it might have triple diamond on it, but it's going to live closer to your Cobra X, to your TaylorMade Core, all those heads, but it's probably going to be slightly, if I'm being honest, faster. Like it is a fast, forgiving. The only other head I can compare it to that's kind of like in that surprising category is 440K. Those are the two heads that I was like, this is, I wouldn't call TD Max unique because it didn't like blow my hair back and like I've never seen this before way like 440K did.
Yeah.
But take 440K out of it, of the heads that I was extremely surprised and happy with, TD Max was like, that is a quality head. For every reason, for every single reason. So I'll say that. Fairway Woods, I'll just do this real quick, Jake. Fairway Woods to me, Callaway Fairway Woods have always been serviceable. If I'm being honest, like I just don't like the shape of them. The triple diamonds just don't spin enough, and the other ones are cool, but they're too low profile for me. But I found some that I really liked that I hit well when I was there, but I was never like a huge fan of their fairway woods, not in a bad way. I just wasn't like, these are the greatest things ever. But I'm very impressed for Callaway. TD Max is amazing, and big fan of the golf ball. Jesus Christ, I'm a big fan of that golf ball.
Yeah, and you and I both saw this. I think you saw it with Charlie. I expect to see it next week when I'm working with somebody. Is the combination of Quantum plus 2026 Chrome Tour is like if you're a Callaway regional rep or fitter or a country club demo day Callaway guy, you're probably pretty freaking psyched this year because you're going to go into those moments where you know that you've got them locked into a Callaway combination, and you're going to like, people are going to have some fun because I'm not saying that it's the thing for everybody. I'm not saying that everybody's going to fit into this. I think there's a chance that everybody can, but do yourself a favor if you have a chance to hit a Quantum, and I would suggest everybody just start with the TD Max. I think I actually think like because I think about it in terms of if I'm going to tell somebody to go walk in a PGA Tour Superstore and do an unsupervised demo of just go hit some shit, right? I would say start with the TD Max in the Quantum lineup and then decide what you need, because I think a lot of people are like, the Max head is really good, but I actually think I almost think it's going to get overshadowed and like Big Brother elbowed by the TD Max.
Max, so do I.
Because it also just looks like people want to see that in your bag. Like the Max doesn't look bad at all. I'm not saying that, but this looks so cool. Like you pick this up and like you like want to be this guy. Like it's so cool looking. Like it's so good.
I just don't see. Again, it's one of the drivers this year, and if I'm going to speak specifically about Callaway, and like granted, like they make banging stuff all the time, right? But this is that driver, honestly, and I could say this about Ping. If 440K was all they sold, cool. If TD Max is all Callaway sold, cool. Like you're good. You're going to be right there. Like you're going to have very little problems, and because of what you can do to these drivers. And like you said about the golf ball, like where they're going to have fun is their fitters are going to go around. And if I was working at True Spec or if I was Brian LaRoche and I really needed to sell a driver, I would 1000% throw a Tour X. If it's, if there's one driver that we're leaning and the guy's on the shelf, like, I don't know, I kind of like this when I would throw him a Tour X with the driver I wanted him to hit. I'm like, see, now we're cooking.
Yeah, look, it's great.
You're going to get the ball speed. I mean, even Adam Beach from My Golf Spy, even Adam Beach, who was like, our Lex Luthor.
That was a wild, that was a wild post. I was like, whoa.
Like it must have been, I don't want to say hard because he's not a child, but it must have been like weird for him to be like, no, like Callaway's golf balls are like really good. Like they're fast. Yeah. Like if they're saying it and people are going to go, well, Johnny used to work there, you're going to glaze over him. Yeah, sure. Like anytime I talk about Callaway, and I try to be brutally honest about Callaway because they're my family, but like, if I'm saying is how I genuinely feel, this golf ball is way different. Like if I had still been working at Callaway, I'd have been the happiest man. Like if I'm Johnny Thompson right now, all I'm talking about is golf ball. I'd be like golf ball, golf ball, golf ball, golf ball, golf ball. Like that's all I would be talking about because it's unique. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, I would encourage people, if you're listening to this or watching this right now, go watch our ball testing video that we did with me, Johnny, and Jack at La Costa, because there was some raw moments. I'm gonna like point myself out in that video because I'm a skeptic when it comes to ball or just gear promises in general. Like I'm a huge skeptic to the point where some of the times like I'm working with even friends at the OEMs and I'm like, yeah, okay, dude, sure, like cool. And we go into this ball thing and you can see me like in my face, you can watch me get humbled instantly. Like it took one swing off the driver, and then what it really was, it was those 123-yard shots or whatever that we hit that my brain like broke. And I was like, wait, I don't. And then we went and we were straight into the wind on 18 at La Costa, and we started hitting shots that I just can't pull off with other things. Like I'm a huge Wilson Staff Model X golf ball guy. I can do anything with that golf ball. And this was the first time, and it still is, and it's going to be, this is going to be a months long comparison and a test for me to figure this out, because I like am super biased towards my golf ball because I found it. I love it. I played it for a year straight without touching anything else. And it helped my game a ton. And then I go hit this damn Callaway X and I go, shit. Like,
yeah,
I was like, I went into fully fit. I even wrote it before we started the trip. I went into that trip saying, I don't need to try golf balls. I don't need to care about golf balls. I want all of my clubs to fit this golf ball. And then we went and hit that at La Costa is where it made the difference. Because hitting into a net at East PC or whatever we did, like whatever. But we went to La Costa and tested it. And I was like, oh, son of a gun. Like now I got to figure out if this is the ball that I need to build around. Because it's just... what you get off the driver is legitimate. I mean, it's not like it's there. The speed is there,
and it hasn't not happened with a player that I've been around.
Correct.
Like I haven't seen a player not get faster.
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited. It's funny because like I also went into fully fit. Like you and I have talked about this. I talked to Wade about it a lot. Of like, I have played the Callaway either Sub-Zero or Triple Diamond driver literally since Epic Flash. And it's not because I'm a Callaway staffer or anything like that. Like I try everything every year and I always get put into that. And I went in this year and I go, okay, I am not playing a Callaway Triple Diamond driver this year. Like that was actually my goal, as weird as that sounds. And, yeah, now it's either it's one of these two. I know. I mean, it's one of these two.
Yeah.
So
no, those are two great heads. Like I'm 99% sure I'm going to play a Callaway golf ball again, which makes me feel good because I've played that ball for a long time, and so I'm kind of building the bag around that golf ball. I don't know where I am with driver yet. I don't know, and if any of you WRX forum members are out there listening to the show, I'm excited to hear what you guys think. Honestly, I want to see what that Tour X does, the experience in the forums, because those guys are good at like grabbing stuff and testing it and getting the chatter. Like I'm curious if you guys are experiencing what Jake and I are. So just throwing that out there. If you guys get a chance to go hit it, please go in the forums because Jake and I are in there. Like we'll go read all that shit. Like I want to know. I'm just curious.
Yeah. We see it. Yeah.
But the TD Max is in the running. Cobra X is in the running. 440K is probably top dog for me right now, and the TaylorMade Core. I'm down to 4 drivers. Like Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I said in our chat, I have an A bag, a B bag, and half a C bag. And
yeah, I got like you have 3 bags: an A bag, a B bag, and a C bag. Is that what you just said?
I have a full A bag currently. Okay. It's not. I wouldn't say it's set, but I'm saying I have one.
Okay.
I have a full B bag, and I have half, if not 75% of a C bag. And I genuinely, if you like spun me in a circle blindfolded and told me to stick my arm out and that was the set I had to play, I'd be like, Yeah, cool. Let's go play some
dude.
good golf. Like this whole like we have to make decisions on what our 14 is thing is becoming a lot of pressure. I'm not gonna lie. Like I am, because it's like killing babies, man. It's like we say that in video editing, like that it's sorry people, that's a phrase. It's a video production phrase.
Yeah,
Like
settle down.
you gotta kill babies sometimes. We're like, yeah, you might really, really love something, but like if it doesn't get you to 100% of your goal, like just you gotta cut that cord. And I'm gonna feel so sad to not have some things in my bag. But I'm also gonna cheat, and I'm gonna find ways around that in my own
I am not, because you played some great golf last year, and I haven't played great golf in like 4 years, maybe since like 2021, where I was like, I feel good about my game right now. I feel like I can go to any golf course and play good golf. So like that, for me, finding 14 clubs in a ball for me is very, very important. And then sticking with those clubs and practicing with them. And, we're building an office. So I'll have a hitting base. So I'll be able to hit these clubs constantly. But like, I'm going to build it, and there's more stuff coming out that I'm going to want to hit, and I'm going to want to try. Like there's a bunch of new big launches coming out this summer in the iron category, and another driver coming. Like there's all this cool shit coming. And I'm going to eyeball it for 2027. Like that's how I'm going to look at it. Like, cool. It'll be a cool 2027, challenger to what I'm already hitting. But yeah, I think I have like drivers a question mark. Fairwoods are cooked for the most part. Hybrids are a question mark. Irons are cooked. Wedges are cooked. Putters cooked, and balls cooked. So like I'm close. I'm pretty close.
Jack.
So anyway, we got to go ahead.
Jack just tweeted Keegan Bradley, G430 LST player, is currently in his practice round using a G440K.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. There you go. Well, that's episode 36. I don't know what by the way, I know we had, discussions about what we were going to talk. We were all over the map today. But that's episode 316 of Fully Equipped. I hope you guys, the consumers, anybody that's a golf junkie like we are, I hope we're giving you some information to go out and navigate the launch waters, because it's a lot of information. Jake and I are trying to do our best to help you guys out. Whether it's anecdotal and it's stuff that relates directly to us or directly to you guys, I don't know. I think it all kind of helps. So if you want to find Jake, go to @MadeForTheRange on Instagram. You can find us both on Fully Equipped, and me at Johnny_Wunder. That is Fully Equipped 316 from Chicago, from Toronto. Johnny and Jakob.
Jake.
We're out of here.